Good morning, guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kirsty. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. It is cold. cold. And yeah, there's a truck backing in next to me. I don't know if you can see him. But, yeah, that's his flashers flashing on me. Yeah, it's cold. This is like the time of year when there is no shame. You have to wear stupid, ugly hats and, it's just not worth it trying to do hair and makeup and stuff. But, if you are an experienced driver, then comment down below and let me know, what was the worst winter that you remember? If you are a new driver or you're looking to get into trucking, there may be some things that you didn't think about. When you think about winter, most people are thinking ice and snow and, oh my gosh, I'm not going to chain and I'm going to go over mountains and stuff. But they don't think about stuff that happens out here that you're just like, what the heck? Our locks freeze. Doors freeze. The doors on the locks, the padlocks on the backs of the trailer. Our brakes freeze. This morning, I had an issue with my brakes where, and here's the thing. As a new driver, you might not even notice. As an experienced driver, you do. So I used to tell my students to, keep a stick of chalk on their trucks, and then when they get out and do their pre-trip, mark the top of each tire. Just the sidewall of the tire, just put a little tick mark. So, because something that I found that people don't realize is they think an axle will lock up. They don't realize it could just be one wheel. So if you're rolling, you don't realize, it's really easy to not realize that one particular wheel is not turning. And if you're dragging that, guess what's going to happen? You're going to you're going to have a flat bald spot on the bottom of that tire. Those tires are really, really expensive. So, so I would tell all my students, take a little chalk, pull forward a little bit. Now today what happened was, I was parked bobtail in front of my apartment, and I was parked bobtail, and so there was all snow on top of the tires. Well, that's really easy to tell if one of them isn't rolling, but from where I was pulling forward just bobtail. I noticed that one of the tires wasn't rolling. And for a second, it looked like it was. So, I got out and I go look, and okay, now there's no snow on 3 of the tires, but on that one tire, it's still covered with snow, which means it didn't roll, So, a friend of mine sat there and he was telling me, okay, well, just dump the airbags. Because I just take a hammer and whack the heck out of the drums and they release. But he told me, he's like, it's cold out. When I say cold, I'm talking like -5 cold. Okay? -5. That is freaking cold. And it feels worse because of the wind, just it's so windy. And it just feels like ice just flying into your skin. We have a tendency to tell students and newbies, you just don't know what you don't know. And you think you know, but you don't. Because, I grew up with snow. I'm from Jersey, but we don't get snow where we get, all the time, or it's snow that's left over from a couple days ago, or anything like that. In Jersey, you act like the end of the world is coming and you got 3 inches of snow, or maybe an inch of snow, and that's really nothing, because a day or two later, it's all gone. It's like 60 degrees and it's all melted. Usually about every 4 to 5 years on President's Day weekend, Jersey gets hit with a lot of snow, like 15 to the, I remember in 1996 it was like 36 inches of snow or something over the course of 2 days, and that's very, very rare. But it happens maybe once every 4 or 5 years, and for whatever reason, it seems like it's always on President's Day weekend, so you can plan it. So a friend of mine told me, drop the airbags, hit the traction control switch, which will allow the tires to spin and the wheels to spin, and he's like, so, pull forward and it should unlock it. Well, no. And I'm not going to go dragging this truck all over the place, So then he's like, well, you're up against a curb, so back up against the curb, and it might put enough, pressure just to release, because you just want a little bit of pressure. It's not, it's not like you really have to do much, but you can do some serious damage to your tires if you don't take care of it. So, took a hammer, banged the heck out of the drums, chong chong, it released. Now, in a perfect world, you want to put chocks under both, put 2 chocks under the wheel, because I've seen people put chocks, they put 1 chock, and they don't realize they're parked on a little bit of a slant, and before you know it, they put the chock in front of their tire, in front of their steer tire, then they push their brakes in, because if you release the brakes and then take the hammer whack to it, you're gonna hear when it releases. It's gonna go clunk clunk, you're gonna hear it. But no, this guy put 1 chock in front of the tire, didn't realize he was slanted backwards, so he pushed the brakes in, gets out of the truck to go take the hammer before he realized the truck was rolling backwards and the chock was in front of the tire, not behind it. So anyway, tell me, what was the worst winter that you had? Because last winter was pretty bad. I had some issues last winter that I got some footage of that I didn't share with you, but my reefer, it was -30. It was in Omaha, which is interesting because I'm not far from there right now. I think maybe I might just word Nebraska off my future list of driving places, at least in the winter. So that was pretty bad because the reefer died. The batteries don't want to stay. I had the bunk heater on. I went to sleep. The bunk heater was keeping up, and instead I said, you know what? I'm gonna fall asleep. The truck's gonna, and then the truck's not gonna start in the morning. So I started the truck and I let it idle. Well, I wake up a couple hours later, the truck is completely freaking frozen, and I'm like, what the heck? The truck died while it was idling. Okay. Had nothing to do with anti-gel or anything like that, because I put anti-gel in. I was all gelled up. All anti-gelled up. But, things happen in this cold weather. Parts on the trucks break. Seals on the trucks break. So last year I had to jump the reefer with the truck, and I have a video of that. I'll show that to you. But basically, if you don't know, there are electrical terminals on our catwalks that you can jump the reefer to the truck, and vice versa. You can jump from the reefer battery to the truck battery if your truck's dead. So so that's interesting. But my very first truck, I was not prepared for Wyoming. I say this all the time, but I was not prepared for Wyoming. It was Easter Sunday, and there was like 3 to 4 feet of snow, and I come from a place where Easter is tulips and cute little fluffy bunnies, and it's not, it's just not 4 feet of snow. That was negative 40 degree wind chill in Wyoming, and so not fun. We have these curtains behind our seat which keeps the heat in the bunk, but what happened was my cat, Goofball at the time, because this one, I don't know what her name is anymore. I just call her Cat. Sometimes I call her Kitty Cat, she responds. But last year, yes, her water bowl was frozen solid. And in Wyoming, it was 2016, Easter Sunday of 2016. That was my first winter out here. And yes, Goofball's water bowl was frozen solid. And these trucks are very drafty. People don't, until you get out here, you don't realize how drafty they are. So you constantly need the heat on. You have to shove blankets down around your bed and everything, and just to keep the draft out, because yeah, we got APUs, but what is bringing that APU up? It's there's holes in the truck coming up into the truck. There's holes. The steering wheel is what? It's a hole going to the outside. It's really what it is. So very drafty. And that particular truck, I love that truck. I love the color of that truck. But I wound up, it was, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was the winter of 2016. And I was in Laramie in Wyoming at the Petro. I went over Elk Mountain. I had 400 miles to go to deliver. I think I went to Corinne, Utah, is where I think I went. And then I went 60 miles back to our terminal. Now, about maybe a half hour after I left the truck stop, right, I heard a clunk clunk, and then all my lights came on, so I stopped at a rest area. And, road assist has a tendency to say, reset the truck, so just turn off the floor switch for a half hour and turn it back on, and you should be good to go. Yeah, well, did that. And it did work, but it was derated. It derated 25%, but I was like, I have to keep going. So I got there, and I figured, well, I'll just get to the terminal after I deliver. As I was driving, we used to have these wheel covers on the trucks for, it's supposed to be for economic reasons, to conserve fuel. And the wheel covers were only on the company trucks. The lease ops didn't like them. They thought they were ugly. They basically look like flat little metal discs. And as I was driving, the bolts that held these wheel covers were cracking and breaking and flying away while I was driving. And I actually saw parts of the truck just fly away, and I was like, what the hell is this, And so I got out, and I realized that the disc was spinning around, because now it only had a couple of the bolts, so one of the bolts, and it was spinning, and I was afraid that it was going to be like a knife and slice the sidewall of the tire. It was not fun. And it was frozen on there, the bolt was frozen. I couldn't get it undone. It was just, so I took a hammer and I was trying to bang the heck out of the bolt to even try to get it to break free of the ice and try to get it off. I was so afraid it was going to slice the tire. And it's this is the kind of stuff, I finally got it, and when I hit it in the right way, the whole bolt just shattered. And so I go and I deliver, and I get back to the terminal, and the Freightliner rep was there. We actually had a Freightliner mechanic in the terminal. He looked at me, he's like, lady, you blew a head gasket. I don't know how the hell you got this truck here. I really don't. And he was showing me all these different parts, like, even though it's really antifreeze, like the coolant was frozen. No lie. I wish I wasn't filming back then. I wasn't one of these YouTubers that, oh, I'm in training and I'm going to show you everything because I know what I'm talking about. No, I didn't start the YouTube channel till I was already 4 or 5 years into driving. And, so I wish I would have had videos of that because that would have been kind of interesting. But he was showing me all these different parts of the truck that because it was so cold at -40, the plastic was just cracking and the metal was just breaking. And it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are or how good you upkeep the truck or whatever, that stuff's going to happen when it gets this bad. So, so comment down below and let me know, what were your worst winters? I'm pretty sure it was 2016 into 2017 for 2 whole months. 2 months. I was in really, really bad weather all through winter. Not one day was sun. Every single day for 2 months was either sleet, snow, fog, frozen fog. I didn't even know that fog could freeze, but frozen fog is a real thing. So, make sure you bundle up. One of the prime drivers last year, who was a YouTuber and she was new, she came out and, a lot of the warnings will tell you if you're exposed to the weather for too long. Like, it'll say 10 minutes. 10 minutes of having your skin exposed in the weather will give you frostbite. And that's what happened to this woman. She was new. She didn't know. This guy's coming to get my bills. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. You gonna take long enough for me to take a nap, or are you gonna be fast?
You'll probably be done pretty quick.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna send you a message real fast for a lump of feed.
All right, thank you, darling. So look at that. See, that's how I deal with that. Ask them flat out, can I go to sleep? Because that way there's not putting pressure on them. A lot of people will be like, yo, I got places to go and blah. You know what? He doesn't care about your places to go. That sounds mean, but I just realized. See, this is something you always gotta pay attention to, your freaking logs. I was only parked for an hour earlier. So, I did 7 in a sleeper. I need to be here for like another 3 hours. I have an hour and a half left on my clock. So I could go drive out of here and then go park and take a 3-hour nap. And, I was kind of hoping he was going to tell me that I was going to be here for a while. But that's usually what I do. I'll say to him, oh, am I going to be able to take a nap or are you going to be fast? And, he said, oh, you're going to be pretty quick. Okay. I've had people tell me, oh, it's going to be a little while. Okay. Little while? 2 hours, 5 hours, and I just tell them flat out, I'm cool with it. I'll go to sleep. You keep me in a door for 5 hours, I'm getting detention pay anyway, so I might as well get paid to sleep. But rather be sleeping in my nice warm bed at home. Oh, check this out. He's already sending me my lumper bill. Cool. Alright. I'm going to show you a couple quick videos from 2022. We had so much snow on the backing pad that there were 70 dump trucks full of snow taken away. So I'll show you what happened when I tried to get my truck. That was not fun. And I do have jump in the battery from last year. So I'm going to go pay my lumper bill, and I hope to see you out here trucking along. Comment down below and let me know everything that you, every winter that you remember that was horrible and what was bad about it. Be safe, guys. Bye.